The carnivore diet can just be too expensive for some people. Hey, what's shaking bacon? My name is Bruno Pinucci. I hope you're doing well. So I've been doing this carnivore diet for, very strictly for almost 4 years, coming up to 4 years, over 3.5. And it can be an expensive diet, but not in the way you think. So first of all, I want you to keep in mind, the carnivore diet isn't a diet. Yes, you can lose weight eating on a carnivore diet, but the beautiful thing about the carnivore diet is it's a way of living. If you just do a carnivore diet and you go back to your regular way of eating that you were doing before, there's a really good chance you're going to put your weight back on. I don't care how fast or slow you lose the weight. In fact, I remember people criticizing me and my ex-wife years ago. We lost weight rather fast, and they said, "Oh, you lose the weight fast, you put it back on fast." And a study had just come out, and that was around 2012 or 13, that said that's not true. It's a myth. I put my weight back on rather fast because after about a year I stopped, and then I just started putting my weight back on because I went back to my old eating habits. She did not, and she stayed slender for years afterwards. So no, you don't necessarily put your weight on just as fast. I've yo-yoed up and down through the years, and I can tell you every time I put my weight back on, it was because I went back to my old habits and my old ways of eating. The carnivore diet is an all meat diet. There's no honey in a carnivore diet. There's no junk food in a carnivore diet. There's no nuts, there's no vegetables, there's no fruits, there's no seeds. It's just meat. And that sounds really expensive to some people. Now, if you have a large appetite like myself, you may find that, that's somewhat expensive because I can eat easily 4 to 5 pounds of ground beef in a day, happily, without any issues. But I shop around for deals, and I mainly stick to ground beef. So I can eat on average 3 or 4 pounds in a day and be very satisfied. Now, I've done less, I've done more. I've lost 165 pounds. I've plateaued at this weight, just over 300 pounds. I sometimes fluctuate up 10 pounds, depending if I'm getting more processed food in my diet or maybe some cheese. But for the most part, I'm fluctuating between 305 to 310. And a lot of people who are thinking that the meat is so expensive and how could you do a diet like that because of just the cost alone would break the bank. That's not how it works, because you're not paying for all those other things at the grocery store. You're not paying for all the fruits and vegetables. And let me tell you, fruits and vegetables are expensive, not meat. I'm in Canada and I'll get my ground beef. I just bought a bunch just last week at $3.88 a pound. Stock up on it. I make a bunch of burgers and then I'm good. I'm good for a while. And the odd time I'll get a steak here or there. But for the most part, that's most of my food. You can get a roasted chicken, and most people, a roasted chicken is enough to last them a day or two. So that's what, $10 or $12, especially if it's cooked on a rotisserie. Most grocery stores sell rotisserie chicken. But where is it that the carnivore diet can get expensive? Well, when you're only eating 2 or 3 pounds of meat, as most people do on a carnivore diet, if you know how to buy your meat on sale, then you're probably spending anywhere between $8 to $10 on meat in a day. And that's in Canada. It's a little cheaper down in the States. So it's not that expensive. You might go up to $12 a day. Ooh. Now, anyone out there who used to live at restaurants, as I used to, knows that when you go to a restaurant, you can drop $12 just on breakfast. You can drop $20 just on breakfast if you have a large appetite. And that's one of the more affordable meals that you can get at a restaurant, breakfast. So it's not the food that gets expensive. As you get healthier, and the neat thing I always say about carnivore is your body heals, and the healing process helps you to lose weight. That's where the weight loss is coming from, because your body is healing. You'll lose your initial 10 or 15 pounds from flushing all the water out of your cells from going to a zero-carb diet, because carbohydrates hydrate your cells, and that's often why people urinate a lot in the first few days and have diarrhea for the first couple of weeks, because they're just dumping all that water. But after that water weight goes, you just start losing weight, and that's because your body is healing. Your blood pressure gets under control, your heart rate gets under control, everything and all the inflammation in your body just starts dying down. So now you're not spending money on all your medications. So you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not spending more money on food. I'm not spending as much on medications, because eventually you'll go down in your medications or off your medications. So you start to think to yourself and you think, okay, I'm not spending more on food. I'm spending less on medications. Where's this extra money coming from? Well, what's left. Maybe you have extravagant taste and maybe you're going out to steakhouses all the time. Well, it's possible. And you're thinking, well, I have a whole family to feed. It's not just me. Well, that's not how it works. Most people do have meat as their main course at most any dinner, unless you're a vegetarian or something like that. Most people have meat at the center of their meal at dinner. So when you just cook that meat in a way that doesn't have any sauces or sugars added to it, you can easily get by on 1 or 2 meals a day doing carnivore. Especially if it's red meat, you're more satiated all through the day and you start to eat less. The family can eat all that other stuff. If you have the willpower and the stamina to just stick to it, that stuff won't call out to you anymore. You won't be craving it. So you're saving money at the grocery store. You're saving money on medications. What else is there? Well, the expense comes from your wardrobe. Now, I've lost 165 pounds. I've gone down from a 4 or 5XL down to a 2 to 3XL, depending on where I get my clothes. So I'm at that in-between phase, and that's what's kind of annoying about where I've been stuck, because another couple inches or 3 inches on my waist, I'm just gonna be fitting into all the double XLs I want. But depending on the make, some things are triple XL. So I'm usually getting about double XL in most of my t-shirts, and this is what happens. You end up getting a new wardrobe once or twice over. Now, I've always had some pretty nice clothes through the years. Fortunately, my shoes, I haven't had to worry about that yet. Yes, if you lose enough weight, you can drop in shoe sizes because there's just not as much tissue surrounding the bones in your feet. And the feet are a very lean area of the body. So if you don't have much weight to lose, you might not have to worry much about shoes. But shirts, definitely. Pants, definitely. And clothes is expensive nowadays. Ever since COVID, everything has just been crazy. Some things are getting a little more affordable again, but for the most part, it's wacky town out there. And when you got to buy a new wardrobe, one thing you might want to do to save money when you're doing it once, twice, or 3 times over as you're losing weight is around the house, stick to more track pants. Buy your clothes a little tighter if you're continually losing weight so that within a short while, they'll still fit. And then they'll start getting baggy, and then you have to buy some new pants. So that can get expensive. I mean, I can easily drop $100 on a pair of pants at my size. That's just the way it works. If I want to get something that somewhat fits rather nicely as far as a pair of pants or jeans go, I'm looking at least $100. American, I'm looking at dropping $60 to $80 to start. So big and tall guy stores, the one thing about them is some of them at least have some nice cuts to their pants. So when you're getting your shirts and your pants, that's something to pay attention to. Now, I've always worn Robert Graham's for quite a few years now, and they can be rather expensive shirts. I also like Buttercloth. Buttercloth is a great brand because it's a slim fit, but they stretch. And you don't want to wear something that's skin tight. That's embarrassing to walk around in. But it's something that allows a little more flexibility when you're going up or down on weight. My Robert Graham shirts, when they're too big, they're just too big. But I haven't thrown any of them out because I'm hoping I can one day find a magical seamstress who'll be able to take them in and make them look good. So I have lots of really expensive designer shirts from when I was 4XL, 3XL. And they're just too big for me. I'm down to regular XL sizes in the large brand of Robert Graham's. Your clothes, that's where you're gonna feel the impact if you have a lot of weight to lose. Even if you're only a 220 pound guy and you drop 30 or 40 pounds, you're probably gonna have to buy a new wardrobe. You're definitely gonna have to buy all new pants and probably t-shirts. Now, depending on what you do for work, that can get rather expensive. So that's where you have to start thinking about how you can find ways to get clothes that's nice and maybe not break the bank at the same time. So once you get to the point where you're stable with your clothes and your weight loss, then you can start getting some nicer clothes. But in the meantime, don't break the bank on really nice clothes. Just get lower quality dress shirts. Just get dress shirts or just regular shirts that are nice, but not too crazy and that aren't gonna break the bank, so that you don't have to drop a lot of money multiple times over as you lose weight. I did that once as a teenager and I lost a lot of weight and I had to buy a lot of clothes all the way down from, I must have been around 400 pounds, all the way down to a lean 200, a very muscular 200. And it's just really expensive. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you watching this video. Take care.